Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video of Fox Reacts. Today we're checking out a new vid from the film theaters about Saw, how a dead man defeated Jigsaw. Let's hop in and see just what Matt had figured out about this long-running torture porn series. Wait, can I say that this early? Yeah, I guess I already did.
I want to play a game. Across the Saw franchise, there have been 100 total deaths. But keep in mind, they weren't all committed by me.
But there are really a lot of
followers
kills?
are numerous, and their talents have served me well. A doctor for medical procedures, a detective to hide our work, former survivors of my games who've gone on to rehabilitate others. And yet, across 9 movies, one of my partners has stayed silent. One has been hidden in plain sight, never revealed to prying eyes. My secret accomplice. Today I lay out the clues
would that be the guy that was introduced in the actual movie called Jigsaw?
Watch this franchise the same way again. Like or subscribe. Make your choice.
We'll do both.
Hello Internet, welcome to Film Theory, the show where killer content sometimes means content about killers. Today we're diving back into the Saw franchise to take a closer look at Jigsaw's murder operation.
I've never murdered anyone.
Fine, then let's go with super deadly rehabilitation racket. Whatever you call it though, working for Jigsaw's gotta be like the worst gig ever. You get long night shifts, you get poor job security, you're constantly working in dirty bathrooms, dripping sewers, just generally unhygienic conditions. I mean, what is this, Amazon? Booyah! Got him with the topical humor. And just like with Amazon, if the employees started to unionize for better working conditions, well, we all know what would happen. Over time, the movies reveal that at least 5 other people or apprentices have been part of Jigsaw's organization, helping him find victims and
this guy, I think this was the guy that was introduced in the actual movie Jigsaw.
Set up games. I suppose teamwork truly does make the dream work. But for as large as Jigsaw's organization became, the films never truly explain who's helping Jigsaw study his targets and learn their patterns pre-abduction. There seems like there's a missing piece to this puzzle, a missing apprentice. Someone who's yet to be revealed as part of Team Jigsaw. I believe that person to be none other than Adam Stanheight, the victim from the first film and pretty much the first person we meet in the entire series. Not only do I think that he survived the events of the first film, I think we can then lay a groundwork of evidence proving he joined up with Jigsaw after the events of the movie, and maybe, just maybe, set up the dominoes that would ultimately kill Jigsaw once and for all. For those of you who need a refresher as to who exactly Adam is, in the first Saw film we're immediately met with one of the most iconic images in all of horror history. 2 men, Adam and Dr. Gordon, both shackled to a disgusting bathroom floor as part of Jigsaw's game. You see, Jigsaw, aka John Kramer, seeks to test people who don't appreciate their lives. And Jigsaw's beef with Adam is that he just sat on the sidelines. A freelance photographer who spied on adulterous couples. Someone who was paid to watch shady people do shady things instead of actually taking action. Adam had actually been hired to follow around his fellow player in the game, Dr. Gordon, who was the prime suspect for the Jigsaw murders at the time. By the end of the movie, Dr. Gordon saws off his own foot, shoots Adam, and crawls out of the bathroom in order to survive. He's later nursed back to health by Jigsaw and goes on to become one of his faithful followers. As for Adam, well, he's left to realize that the true Jigsaw was in the room with him the entire time. John Kramer rises out of a pool of blood and gives us this iconic finale.
Game over.
Game over.
The first movie ends with Adam's fate unclear. We're left to assume that Adam just bleeds to death in the bathroom, still shackled to the floor. That is, until Saw 3, when we see a flashback as to what really happened after the first movie ended. We see Amanda, another of Jigsaw's proteges, trying to suffocate Adam to death to put him out of his misery. And this is where Adam's story is believed to have ended, as we later see his nasty, decayed corpse still chained to the floor in both Saw 2 and Saw the Final Chapter. So, if he's dead, why would I possibly think that he could be Jigsaw's secret accomplice? Well, let's start by taking a closer look at
folks, I gotta take a break for a moment. Sorry about that.
Adam's supposed death scene. In Saw 3, Amanda is shown to be suffocating Adam for 36 seconds before she breaks down in tears and the scene abruptly ends. And we know that this is meant to be a roughly accurate estimation of time because the scene doesn't have many cuts from the moment that the bag goes over his head. Here's the thing about that though, 30 seconds without oxygen probably isn't enough to kill him. According to past studies, it takes approximately 30 seconds to 3 minutes to render someone unconscious. Severe neurological damage starts at around the 3-minute mark, and brain death occurs around around the 5-minute mark. If oxygen is restored within 3 minutes, then a person can feasibly recover. Now, admittedly, when dealing with oxygen deprivation, mere seconds could make the difference between life, death, and irreparable damage, so suffocation isn't something to take lightly. And factors like Adam's head trauma, his panicked response, his weakened state, all of that could have impacted his overall survival. But looking purely at the timing here, it's likely that he was just knocked out during this scene. Heck, Adam went nearly that long without oxygen at the start of the film when he was in the tub. In fact, to get Amanda to stop her attack, Adam could have easily been playing dead, which is a tactic that he employed previously in the game.
Bad acting. That is still terrible. Look at that.
Alright, he wasn't great at it, but maybe he picked up a tip or two after witnessing a pro. It's also worth noting that we never get confirmation of his death here. The scene cuts away pretty much immediately after Adam stops struggling. And when it comes to Saw, if the death isn't definitively shown on the screen, then the character always comes back. We've seen this before with other characters like Dr. Gordon, Agent Perez, Detective Matthews. Speaking of Detective Matthews, by the way, he serves as an interesting case here because, like Adam, he too was supposed to be killed by Amanda. Again, in Saw 3, we see that she supposedly beat him to death, but left before making sure the deed was done. Sure enough, he survived. And not only did he survive, Jigsaw sent one of his accomplices to retrieve him and secretly nurse him back to health. In short, lots of people get secretly nursed back to health in these movies, and Amanda has herself a track record of not fully killing people off. In fact, it's more than possible that Jigsaw did something similar here. In Saw 3, when Amanda claims that she's a murderer, Jigsaw responds that he's been cleaning up her mistakes. Emphasis on the plural.
Hold on, we got an ad, folks.
Yeah.
And we're back.
I just returned a favor.
No, Amanda, that's what you thought. But I know different.
Look at shaking the gun, just...
You left him for dead, didn't
on.
you? But I cleaned up your mistakes. And I forgave you for them.
He didn't want his protege committing murders that broke his rules. That's why Jigsaw had an accomplice intervene to save Detective Matthews. But to the best of our knowledge, Matthews was really her only quote-unquote mistake. So why would Jigsaw say that this is plural? Well, the Jigsaw 3 director's cut shows that when Amanda snuck off to kill Adam, Jigsaw woke up and eyed her with suspicion. It's an interesting detail to include, especially considering that this is the director's cut. So it's footage that he felt was important enough to get added back into the story that he wanted to tell. If Jigsaw truly pieced together that she was going to go kill Adam, he could have called upon one of his other accomplices to swing by the bathroom and clean up yet another of her mistakes. But here's the clincher, the most compelling piece of evidence that Adam's death was faked. Look at the corpse left in the bathroom that we see in both Saw 2 and Final Chapter. Notice that it has the shackle on the right foot, but throughout the bathroom game, Adam is shown to have the shackle on his left foot.
Holy.
His left leg in the shackle.
This would seem like a massive production detail to get wrong. Not just once, but twice. When trying to faithfully recreate the first film set down to the smallest detail, there is no way a mix-up like this could have happened by accident. The only reason for the shackle to wind up on the wrong foot here is if someone unshackled Adam and then switched him out with a corpse in order to fake his death. But the evidence for Adam's involvement here doesn't just stop at him being alive and potentially nursed back to health. Remember that Adam's job prior to the bathroom game was taking surveillance photos. Sounds like it'd be a useful skill for a killer who profiles victims and then abducts them from their daily routine, does it not? So, is it any coincidence then that after Adam's test, black and white photographs of victims become a prominent part of Jigsaw's operation? Nearly all of the victims in Saw 4, 5, 6, and the final chapter have photographs taken of them. Many of them seemingly taken unknowingly while the victims were being watched from afar. One after another, enough to fill an entire photo album. But where did these candid photos come from? Someone must have been taking surveillance of the victims. And who do we see taking photos just like these? Adam. Granted, photographs did occasionally show up in Jigsaw's operation prior to the bathroom game.
Oh yeah, prior to that.
If you're so sick, then why do I have so many photos of you up and about?
However, perhaps Adam's involvement goes back even further than we've been led to believe, with Jigsaw anonymously enlisting Adam's surveillance talents before he was ever tested. After all, Adam is established to not ask a lot of questions when dealing with mysterious clients.
True.
Calls himself Bob and he gives me the money up front. $200 a night. If I'd known I was gonna end up here, I would have asked for a hell of a lot more.
In fact, it's probable that Jigsaw may have even hired
That's
Adam
a
to
hell
help
of a
him
lot
track
more.
down his first victim ever,
see now.
Cecil, the man that assaulted Jigsaw's wife and cost the couple their unborn child. Saw 4
Yeah.
goes to great lengths to depict
Gideon.
nearly every step of Jigsaw preparing for his
Yeah,
first
that's right.
killing.
He
it's
named
an
his-
important one in
he
his
was
backstory,
gonna
after
name
all.
his
And yet, for
child
all the
Gideon.
meticulous detail it shows in the planning process, the film never shows us how Jigsaw actually tracked down Cecil's whereabouts in the first place. All of a sudden, Jigsaw's
that
just
is
shown to be in
fun.
possession of a bunch of photographs with a file with an address on it that someone presumably provided him.
How
It's very
did he
possible
know
that Jigsaw
where to find
enlisted Adam to
Cecil?
find Cecil, snap some shots, and tail him back to his home address, no questions asked.
Especially
And from
knowing
that point
that,
forward,
Chinese
Jigsaw
New
became a
Year,
repeat
Year of
customer,
the Pig.
eventually throwing Adam into a game because, you know, he just has a habit of doing that to his followers. But
see
Adam
now.
being alive doesn't just explain where a bunch of photographs came from. It also fills in the gaps for one of the most pivotal plot elements in the entire series, Jigsaw's death. You see, Jigsaw's demise
this
is
is making a
basically
lot
the
of
result of
sense.
an impossibly complex series of dominoes. A victim named
Very
Jeff slits
complex.
Jigsaw's throat because apprentice Amanda shot Jeff's wife. And Amanda shot Jeff's wife because someone else on Team Jigsaw, Mark Hoffman, blackmailed her into doing it, threatening to tell Jigsaw about Amanda's connection to Cecil.
Look at this.
I don't know about her.
What do you mean you don't?
She's been good to her.
I could see.
But wait a minute, back up a second. How the heck could Hoffman have possibly known this? If this scene between Amanda and
Like, look
Cecil
at
had been
this.
caught on camera, Jigsaw would know too. He's seen the footage. And if this information surfaced as part of a police investigation, Amanda would have been charged as an accomplice. So this means
This
that
shit is
someone who
always
was there that
confusing.
night must have informed Hoffman about Amanda's presence. But who could have done it? Well, funny enough, this pivotal flashback scene from Saw 4 depicting that fateful evening is packed with characters from
Whoa.
throughout the series. Paul from the razor wire trap, the guy
Oh.
from Amanda's first game. It's a literal
Whoa.
who's who of future Jigsaw victims. Apparently
That
this was
is-
just a night
that
of
is
wild
interesting.
coincidences. Most critically though, Addison from Saw 2 is shown to be present, even going so far as
Yeah,
to
Addison,
proposition
right
Jigsaw.
there.
Yeah, honey. You want some company?
This is important because Adam's photography business specializes in documenting infidelity.
I get paid
Boom.
to take pictures of rich guys like you who go to seedy, out-of-the-way motels.
Therefore, Adam might have had a reason
at
for
this.
hanging around this corner of town. To be fair, the film never outright shows Adam, but he could have just been lurking off screen. Now, that would obviously
This
sound like me
is-
making excuses, except for the
Now
fact
this
that
is
the
making a lot of
movies
sense.
pull this trick repeatedly. In fact, with this very same scene, Amanda evidently was out of sight the first time this flashback was shown to the audience, only for later films to reveal that she too was hidden in the corner the entire
Boom.
time. If Adam supplied the ammunition for Hoffman to blackmail Amanda, that would make Adam the one truly responsible for
Look at this.
Jigsaw's death. In a way, it kind of bookends the entire series. In Saw the Final Chapter, Jigsaw told Dr. Gordon that he would keep
confusing.
no more secrets from him.
I will keep no more secrets from you.
It's never explained what he meant by this. They just kind of leave that promise hanging. Perhaps the biggest secret of all stems from Jigsaw letting Gordon live under the belief that Adam was dead, when in fact he was alive and secretly aiding in the Jigsaw operation the
well,
entire
there
time.
was no hints
Jigsaw
throughout the
initially
entire
targeted Adam
series.
due to him being a mere voyeur that sat in the shadows,
Other than
watching
the
everyone else
ankle on
commit
the
their
corpse and all.
misdeeds. But Jigsaw's operation allowed Adam to actively intervene in the lives of those he watched. In the end, perhaps Jigsaw's lessons ultimately backfired, as the one who had once been content to sit on the sidelines suddenly started to play puppet master
Oh.
himself, pulling the strings to pit Jigsaw and his followers against each other. I guess Adam
If
did
this
learn
was
from
real,
the
then
best.
this
Finds
was
ways for his
crazy.
victims to kill themselves.
But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut.
Well, folks, I just gotta say that is definitely crazy and yet cool. If there was a way for the directors and, you know, the people that just made the Saw movies to confirm or deny this, that would just make it even more cool. Anyway, I want you all to remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Down in the description will be a link to the original video, so remember to support the original creator and all they do, and I'll see all of you folks next time. Peace out.